Welcome in Line by Line. Today I welcome Shleef, who brought a song, Eidolon by Karnivool. And Shleef is also from a musical band. Well, tell me about it a little bit, and also why did you pick that song?
All right, so my band is called Silent Regression. You're welcome to listen to the two songs we have on YouTube and one more on Bandcamp for the initiated. And yeah, it's a band that I've been playing in for a lot of years. We've had a few incarnations, but we've been working on it a lot. And I think I can say that music is definitely my number one priority. It's not where I get money because that's almost impossible, but it is where I find meaning and value more than probably anywhere else. Actually, I picked Eidolon, the song, because of a conversation I had about it with my friend who's the guitarist in my band. Guitarist and singer. And we actually talked a lot about this song in the context of shared experiences that we had about specifically about relationships and how we meet that kind of difficult situation in that context. And I think this song really touches on these subjects in such a sharp way. And one more thing that I like about it is when you just listen to the lyrics or read them, they're not so explicit, but when you really go into it, it kind of opens up and there's really a very, how to say, a very consistent way to read it, right? And then the meaning really pops out in a strong way. So I really like how he uses words not only to convey the story, but how the story kind of underlies the words, and he uses the words to create the feeling.
Yeah, I actually like every analysis is a discovery of everything that is in between the lines somehow, and the emotional state of a singer. And like we also kind of, it's like a Rorschach test. I said it many times. The things that are alive in us, but we cannot put our attention to it, like we cannot really name it, but then we hear the song, that it is, that's what's wrong. That's what is alive.
Yeah.
I agree with the with that idea that music is where we express ourselves, and it is a shame that it does not bring money. Like I would love to be able just to earn money on creating music, but it's for very few people somehow. There are a lot of wonderfully talented musicians that play on the streets, and or like in smaller clubs. It's all about the audience and having that feedback somehow.
I couldn't hide my face to claim my innocence. I wouldn't have the sense to keep going on. Maybe I'm just too proud to stand in your defense. Still, I feel the pull of hidden wires.
To me, it associates with conflict. Like, do you feel like there is a specific story behind it? What's alive for you?
So one thing is immediately you have this feeling of guilt. So it's like, I couldn't hide my face to claim my innocence. There's not only guilt, there's also something directed at him. Someone is blaming him, like the speaker. And then when it continues, he has, I wouldn't have the sense to keep going on, which is interesting. So what is this? What is going on? Like do you need to keep going on with? What are you being blamed of? How are you dealing with that? And in the third line, I think it kind of becomes clearer. So you have, maybe I'm just too proud to stand in your defense. Here's the accuser, right? So who is this you, and why is this being put up? And then you have the hidden wires, which I think wraps it up in a different way. But I think we can talk about the hidden wires after, because I think the three first lines are important. Because what I really feel is this kind of sense of ungroundedness. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, 100%.
So what I feel is kind of, you feel like you're guilty of something, but also in a way that something is unfair about
it. It's like funny that he is guilty of it, but he is surprised by how sure she is. Like, she has no proof, but like she actually is like, she is correct. But he's like, how can you think that of me? Which is like, you probably correct. Like, how can you think that of me? If you think that of me, you don't like me very much. And like all that hidden wires sort of thing.
Yeah, and this kind of, maybe I'm just too proud. Like, there's this self-doubt, right? And the fact that it's still your defense, right? So somehow I'm not living up to what you need me to be, not living up to what you're supposed to get from me, to your defense. But I think the fourth line, the hidden wires, is this thing, like, maybe I'm screwed up, maybe I'm doing everything wrong, but I can't help but feeling this, like someone is trying to play me like a marionette.
Yeah, manipulation.
I feel this pull, like, what's going on? And one thing I like, just to put a ribbon on it, is the rhyming structure is really nice in the first three lines. So you have innocence, and then at the end of the first line, then you have sense right in the middle of the second, and then defense at the end of the third. So it kind of contracts and expands, and this creates this kind of wobbly, unstable feeling in the song, and I think it's really well played there.
Yeah, like masterfully played. I really like that idea that he's questioning, because to a person who does actions, those actions seem natural, but then somebody else recognizes those actions as wrong, and then he's like, is she right? Actually, are those actions wrong? Did she manipulate me? It's like, yeah, exactly. all those inner things. Like, it is true that sometimes the other person seems judgmental, and being that the truth is, we judge ourselves. The other person, it like just enhances that feeling, right? Like, there was like somebody said about love this, I love you because when you look at me, I feel beautiful. It was okay, so what does that mean? And then I'm thinking about it, like, does that mean he actually sees her at all, or he only sees how much she loves him, so he feels beautiful? And it's this kind of, I don't know if it's narcissistic type, but like, we all want to be beautiful in a sense. We all want to be recognized. Yeah,
it does sound somewhat narcissistic, but I think I can relate to some extent. I guess there's something about that feeling of real intimacy, like the person is looking at you and you can see something in their eyes. But for me, at least, the difference in relationships was there were times where it felt like a person, like the woman I was with, was looking at me and she was seeing me and she was seeing it as beautiful, but sometimes she was just seeing something and maybe she felt that it's beautiful, but I was feeling like somewhere there, and it's not actually me, right? So there's this.
Yeah, I understand it. So it's another thing to be seen. It's when we know our value somehow, and then the other person sees us and recognizes that. But imagine what it's like for people who hate themselves. And then somebody sees them with this admiration, and then they feel even worse. So in here, I do have a sense that the guy doesn't really like himself very much. And when she recognizes it, it kind of, it tears him a little bit, like, because he feels judged, maybe. And he could not hide his face to claim his innocence. He didn't want even to protect himself. He was too proud to try to protect himself.
I don't think he was too proud.
Okay.
I think he was self-doubting, mainly. I think this, maybe I'm just too proud. It's kind of maybe I'm wrong after all. Maybe all of this, all of your accusations, I should be standing at your defense and saying you're right. And maybe I'm just too proud. I have this, and I think this kind of dialogue, right? There's something going on, and you're putting yourself in these loops, and it's actually making it much worse. I actually think that, and we'll probably get to it moving forward, but I actually think that this song has really a lot of depth to it, because it's not just projecting blame onto the other person. It's actually recognizing, okay, this other person is manipulative, but also, right, what's going on with me in this situation?
He wants, he's trying to relate, but very delicately, to the other person, that she might also be responsible for that fight going on. Like the way she conducts herself, that's what he feels in relationship to how she acts towards him, like those hidden wires, but he like really delicately mentioning it.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point that I hadn't thought about, that the entire song that we'll get to is defensive. So it's always on defense, always just trying to face all the accusations and things that are being thrown at him. The chorus. I'm never going to draw a line. I dare to speak my mind. When all your changes made before don't seem to change a thing at all. You need. What does that bring up in you, for instance?
Again, defensiveness. He doesn't want to stand up for his defense, but he kind of still wants to like he doesn't want to counterattack. So the only thing he does is just this block. I'm never gonna draw a line. I dare to speak my mind. So he talked, I'm never gonna draw a live future. I dare to speak my mind in the past. So he already did that in the past, and now he learned his lesson. And because of that, he is not counterattacking. Oh, he sounds so familiar as a person, though. Like, honestly, like I think I heard that somewhere. But that, oh my God, it actually tells something about me, probably. Oh, when all your changes made before don't seem to change a thing at all. Oh, she was trying to improve him, but he's like, I'm still the same guy. And then you need. Oh, she keeps giving those requests. Yeah, I don't think he feels seen or recognized for who he is. He feels judged, and he's not willing to speak his mind. He thinks like maybe too proud, but I actually think he doesn't believe it will change anything somehow. So he just kind of gives up. So that thing is a giving up. What I read into it. What do you think? That's interesting.
I think you're spot on. Right? That really resonates. And there are a few things that I really found interesting in how he uses the words. So first of all, just he could have said something like, and all the changes made before, but he didn't. He said all your changes. He's not he's not the one who's initiating the changes. He's not the one who, or even furthermore, not mutually developing, right? It's not the changes that we need to make in order to accommodate for each other. It's like you're coming down like the CEO from the conference room, and you're telling me, you know, here's some changes. Even if it's her changing, let's say, still like your changes, and there's something about it that's really kind of, I don't know, something that I can really recognize in situations.
I feel so judged right now. That song resonates to the female part in me.
And I just want
Oh, I can try to explain. I can try to defend myself.
to,
Oh my God, it's perfect. Like shout out to the band. I actually will tag them. Amazing.
yeah. One more thing about it is I really like, or the line where he says, "I'm never gonna draw a line." So what does it mean? Because I think there's a few ways to interpret that. And one thing that I think about is like to draw a line is to separate yourself from the other person, to say like this is where it stops, right? Here I am, and you're not going to break that, let's say. And there's something about that position in a relationship that I think, despite how we like to think about like this romantic, like shared identity, I think sometimes you got to draw a line. There's this point where you're saying, where do you end and the other person begins?
Mm.
And I think that's like this element of confusion.
It reminds me of that question from an old movie called Closer. It's Natalie Portman. She asked, "When, when can you answer when enough is enough? Just say it to me. Tell me when enough is enough." And I was like, "That's interesting. What is enough is enough? It's the boundary." And it sounds like that. I'm never gonna draw a line. Like at that point, enough is not enough. Like I don't understand. It's so confusing to me. It's kind of reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.
Draw a line. So it is a sense of commitment, though. Like that saying.
Yeah, it really comes together with the parts when he's still involved there. He's not trying to break it. He's not trying to like get away, but it's making him confused and manipulated, and he's not really himself. So how do you reconcile that?
It's like he feels he's not enough for her, maybe. So she keeps, he's like, because I don't want to draw a line, I don't want the end, I allow you to keep changing me. But truth be told, I haven't really changed. So when at the beginning he probably done something. Of course, he did not change, but like he still wants that relationship. That's why at the
No,
beginning he could not hide his face in shame.
I'm not sure though, because I think
That's a suspicious nature of woman who immediately like, oh, you cannot hide your face in shame, you done something.
I think it's also something, at least what really resonates with me when I hear when all your changes made before don't seem to change a thing at all. It's not just like you tried to change me and I'm the same. I think there's this like underlying in the song all the time is this feeling that something is wrong, that she's feeling like something isn't right here. And we said we'd make changes, but it all stays the same. All the changes are kind of superfluous. They're all on the surface. And this feeling that something is off just stays. And in that sense, they don't change a thing at all. And I really like also that, right, it's a change that doesn't change anything. So how is it even a change, right? Even in terms of the words.
I think, what if she manipulates? That's again not me, and not projecting at all. What if she tells him if he doesn't change, they cannot be together? And he's like, I never did that to you, though. Like, I do not draw those lines. Like, I don't threaten you with ants. Like, why are you doing that? And so the
Yeah,
whole thing is like that. So she's forcing changes onto him by threatening the breakup all the time, and he's trying to change, but like at some point, like, why are you, do you think about breakup? Like, can you just like, yeah.
yeah. This, by the way, really relates to this name of the song. So Eidolon, it can mean two meanings in Greek. It can mean either a spirit, so some kind of apparition, a mirage, something elusive, or it can mean an idol or an ideal. And
Oh,
I think this underlying spirit is constantly hovering around. It's elusive, and something is on the tip of his tongue, but he can't grasp it. He can't say what is it that's wrong. But nothing seems to change, and everything is elusive all the time.
I get it though. It's like she liked him at the beginning because she did not know him really, so she projected her agape onto him, like whatever, anima, like one of those. She projected it onto him, and then he was not living up to that ideal. And so she's like, well, I only want to be with that ideal, so we have to uh, trim that, like you have to change. And he's like, keep changing, but then at some point, like, why you threaten me to end the relationship? And he doesn't do it to her though. Like, I do not see, I think it's unfair. Like at that point, I think at that point they have to be honest with each other. Like, either you like me for real me, not the ideal that you made up, or we actually shake hands and like lick wounds and move forward, like
Yeah.
separately. Yeah, but I see he wants to keep it, but he's done with her shaping him all the time to her ideal.
And this is, I think, the end of that chorus when you need, you need.
Yeah, he's done
Uh,
with that.
it's this, I think it's also this urgency, right? Even what
Mm-hmm.
really resonated with me, and this is really projecting my own things, is so you have something wrong in the relationship, but put it aside because now something happened, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's her birthday, or maybe there was some tragedy or something. Now she needs, and you should just shut yourself off and all of the things that are wrong, put them aside because this need is above everything.
Mm.
I wouldn't find my place with this gorgeous skies. Why can't I face myself without these lies? I couldn't find my path without knowing it. I've been around every turn. I know what's left is right. I love this verse, all of it. I think it's amazing. So I just start by saying that the first line is so powerful for me because he's putting on a disguise, a poor disguise, as he's admitting to. But there's the underlying realization is like this disguise is screwing up with him. It makes him unable to find his place because when we lie outwardly, we lie inwardly. So you can't find your place as long as you're not being honest. And he's saying that in the second line. Like, he needs to be able to face himself without all of this craziness, all of these lies that are enveloping him. And he can't.
Yeah. So he was living up to her. Like, first of all, she convinced him that the real him is wrong and bad and somehow has to hide himself. So he would make up all those appearances and initially, the more he did it, the more he lost actual divine real him. And like we all deep inside, we all have this good inside. We all divine. It's like instead of bringing out the best of him, she made him hide whatever was the best of him, so that she could like live out her stuff.
Yeah, and replaced it with a poor disguise.
Yeah.
So like he might be the thing that she told him to change to for the very surface level appearance, but it's absolutely ruining him.
I keep thinking about I know what's left is right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a perfect line because it in one line encapsulates both this feeling like, okay, right, the only option I have certainty. This is all that's left. And at the same time, it's like I am so confused that I don't know left from right. Right, left, like up is down, left is right.
I also think what's left is right. In a sense, what's left of me, of real me inside, not left or right like a path, but the remaining me who is shouting out from under all this rubbish disguise, he is right, like in a sense, like he's correct. That's how I heard it.
Yeah.
Like whoever is left deep on the inside is correct. But I might have this linguistic misinterpretation.
No, that's definitely the initial reading, right? That's the right
That's so
that's what stands
beautiful.
out, and I think it's really poignant of you to point out that it's not just the only choice that's left, like I thought about it. It's actually what remains, that final thing when you strip down all of the disguises, that thing that's left, it has to be right because it's me.
Because he have been around every other turn, so he tried all the passages, all of them, up, down, left, right. He tried all of them. And he only has this one remaining passage. Yeah.
But I think that the middle line, I couldn't find my path without knowing it. Also, it has this beautiful ambiguity. Because on one hand, it's this paradox, this paradoxical feeling. Right? You can't find the path without already knowing the path. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, maybe it refers to something else. Maybe it's not.
So the right path is the one he walked before. probably. Like, so there is this path that I know that I used to walk back in the day.
Interesting.
So I could not find my path without knowing it. It's like he wants to walk the path he already knows, maybe. But that's the path from the him that remains on the inside. Like the rest of him, whatever's left, can face myself without these lies. Yeah. Interesting. So he's trying to straighten, like get to the truth. Yeah, I do think it's very toxic to make people forget who they are and not to bring out the best of them, but instead make them live up to the best idea of whatever doll you have inside your head, and like manipulating the person to do it.
For sure.
Oh my God, that's heavy.
But I think what's beautiful here is he's taking responsibility for it. So yeah, she's manipulative. She's trying to shape him into something that he can't be, but he's questioning his own response to that. Why can't I face myself without these lies? What have I been doing wrong? Where have I let this escalate and deteriorate to the point that I'm in now? How did I come to this place?
Yeah.
I'll never let it die. I tried. I dared to free my mind. And all the same changes as before don't seem to change a thing at all. I'm never going to try. I know that I won't come back. It started with a smile, I know, but it won't come back. This is real.
Yeah. So he's repeating the what's left thing, the truth, I guess. And the truth is that he's not going to let it die.
What is it? What is he not going to let die? That's really.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought he meant the relationship, but that's true. There is the it is the whatever is left of him.
That's what I think too. I also have the same process that like I know what's left, that thing that's left, I can't let that die. Like
Yeah.
if I'm pushed further, then there will be nothing. Like I have to, and he's even saying, I tried, right?
Yeah.
I tried to effectively kill myself, right? To repress myself to the point where I'm just beyond repair. But I won't do it. I'll never let it happen, even though I went so far as to try.
Oh, she made him cross to the other side, but like what crossed to the other side is actually still him. It's like he will never let it die. Like he can move to the but he's still him in a sense. Don't seem to change a thing at all. Like even with all those disguises.
And I love this. Seems like it's just a repeat of the chorus, but I love it how he's using the words to reinforce the feeling. Right, same changes. Right, so just that contrast of sameness and change conjoined.
So yeah, this idea that he linguistically he kind of mixes the lines together, like he's affirming himself in his correct way of being. Like he gets too much information, so he keeps mixing all of it together to again find the right way, like it, repeating to reinforce it.
Yeah.
Same changes as before, and repeat, and again.
And then you have the second part
Mm-hmm.
of this course where, so before he said, I'll never let it die, I tried, but now he's saying, no, that's it. I'm never going to try. That's where I'm cutting it.
He's
I
drawing a
know that I
line.
won't come back. Hmm?
He's drawing a line.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's finally drawing a line.
Yeah.
And then I love this. It started with a smile, I know, but it won't come back. And that's just really relatable when you have, you know, this relationship and you remember the good times and you know that it's not all, you know, just manipulation and lies and everything. It really did start with a smile. I know that. Which is, I think, what's so confusing to begin with, right? You have this relationship and you have all of these negative things, but you also really want to cling on to the positive. You know, it really did start with a smile. You know that.
I'm projecting here my own thing, which lines up really perfectly. It's at the beginning of the relationship, there is everything goes like super smoothly, really smoothly. Then a first bump, speed bump kind of, started as a joke a little bit, but then it escalated. And to the point when it escalated, whatever was a little joke is like exploded for some reason. And we will not be back to that happy place which was before that joke. And like, or some essential misunderstanding. So I smilingly said something, triggered something which I did not know. This is real. And that those words, that this is real, said in the moment when he's like really, really lost and already saying, I never gonna try, and this is real. He affirms here, not trying anymore, and real, because I know we will not be back to whatever was before the thing.
Yeah. I just I want to relate to what you were saying about you know, this moment when the relationship hits some speed bump and you have this thing that you won't go back to. I think that's a part of having mature friendships, right? In contrast with high school friendships, let's say, when it's never going to be this kind of light, fun, all the time thing. Like a lot of relationships get heavy. A lot of relationships get, there's still a lot of beauty in them, but you can't just say, oh, let's go back to when it was. That's not an option. You need to grow up and realize there's something else there. I don't know if it's related to the song, but I think it really resonated with me when you were saying that.
Yeah, but that's what again, here I will relate to her a little bit. So she has this ideal, and the ideal existed in the first, let's say, 3 months, until that big fight with a joke, which started as a joke. And she wants him to be in exact same spot, so she keeps changing. And he's like, no, this is real. We changed. We both changed. That happened. Let's face it. We will not go back and pretend that, oh, write me, like, I don't know, send me a beautiful music postcard as you used to do in the first 3 months. I want that thing. That's what won me over. And that was before the thing. I'm like, that thing is very relatable to me. I
For
kind
sure.
of want to also always be back in the first 3 months all the time. And people like, it's impossible. I was like, no, please. Like, I was so happy back then. I want the pink stuff.
I'll I'll relate with a completely with an example from a completely different field. So when I was, I think, what, 23 or something, I went to Lapland to see the aurora. And there was this thing, so it was a lot of people, like not a lot of it, about a dozen people were with me there also coming to see it. And we really got lucky. We went right to the border with Norway, and there was a beautiful aurora. And it's nothing like you see in the pictures. It's really different. And I was dumbfounded. It was so unique to see it. And I could hear all of these annoying people near me saying like, we expected something more than that. But I was thinking, but this is real, right?
Oh
It's
my
better
God.
than the pictures. This is what it actually is, the long exposure, beautiful. No, so it looks more like bright clouds that appear and disappear rather than this huge bright light in the sky. But it's so beautiful if you just accept that this is real, and there's so much beauty to see in it.
Oh, that resonates a lot. Is real is this moment, not regretting that postcard of first 3 months, which was actually like not really real. Like, was it like really good? Why do you remember it so well? Like, was it actually so good in the actual moment? It's like, so that thing, because like I remember memories visually. I seemed happy and smiley back in the day, let's say. Oh, interesting.
In
Yeah.
any case, I think in the song, this is the final turning point. When he says this is real, this is where the confusion makes room for the decision or the certainty.
Oh
There's,
yeah.
there's no doubt that this is real.
She should appreciate the moment, basically.
Yeah.
Should have seen it coming. Because now I'm feeling nothing. I was taken far beneath the middle. And then he kind of mixes it. I'm never gonna try it. Should have seen it coming. I know that I won't go back. Because now I'm feeling nothing. I was taken far beneath the middle. It started with a smile, I know. Should have seen it coming. Because I'm feeling nothing, but it won't come back. I was taken far beneath the middle. It's like the end I was taken for granted. And now the line that he drawn kind of makes sense. And all of these broken lines that were kind of inside his head took form of that last stanza. I should have seen it coming. I feel nothing. I should have seen it coming. But still sounds kind of emotional. What do you think?
For sure. I think one interesting thing about it is this is one of the points where he's really taking responsibility. I should have seen it coming. This isn't something that happened because, she was doing something that's unbearably wrong or something. This is not something that is even you in a way, right? Probably, probably you already know yourself at this point. You already know that you're prone to that kind of behavior. You should have seen it coming. You should have done something differently. And the way you know that, right, like this, because now I'm feeling nothing. That's a really strong thing to say, right? Because it started with a smile, and then there was all of this thing, and now there's nothing. And it didn't have to get to that point, right? Maybe if you drew the line, maybe if you stood up for yourself, maybe the relationship would have ended earlier. We don't know. Maybe it would have gotten better. But there's something here that I think is really, really sharp. Right? The fact that you've reached that point when you're feeling nothing and it doesn't relate to how you want to be in the world, that's something that you need to take responsibility for, to understand what brought you there. And then the third line, I was taken far beneath the middle, is the one that's most mysterious to me, specifically because why did he use the middle? Like he could say I was taken down, I was brought to the pit, I was brought to my knee, but far beneath the middle specifically, he added that word there. It's not even a rhyme. He really wanted to say it. You have some idea like why that would be?
I want to say that by that point, I completely identify with him. So that when he finally shaped what he wants, but it sounds very emotional. And the emotion that I see in all of those is grief. He's grieving the fact that he feels nothing, and he knows that's what happens. Started with a smile, that one. Taken far beneath the middle, it's because he knows his self-value. He knows his self-worth. Like for me, that one is, oh, you did not recognize me. You did not know whom you had. So the way she was, like now I'm dissociating from her completely, I'm on his side. The way she treated him, the real him, is like you have to hide the real you and you have to pretend to be somebody else. But the real me should not be treated as that, like that, because I'm worthy, let's say.
So maybe the middle is kind of where his agency, his outward persona is, and I is his real self, and he was like pulled down, right? And this middle is kind of empty now. That's maybe why he's feeling nothing.
The middle is normal behavior. Like she did not treat him as a normal human being. She was putting him down. Like he always says beneath the middle, and when people being abused by somebody, you put me down, let's say. And so the real him was put down all the time, basically. And he should have seen it coming, and it started as a joke. So the first time she put him down, she did it as a joke, and so he did not pay attention to it. So she continued doing more and more of it. She continued to, like, let's say, crossing his boundary and pushing him down all the time. It's like, I know that it started with a smile. It's the first time she put him down, and I should have seen it coming.
That's so cool. I never thought about that.
I am, damn, I have goosebumps. Like, I think we are onto something.
Yeah, I always thought it started with a smile, as like the relationship
it's the time when she actually suppressed the real him as a joke.
Yeah, so right, it started with this fake smile, sort of. It started with this kind of.
So he laughed at it the first time.
Yeah.
And then she kept going deeper and deeper, suppressing him more and more.
Yeah.
And now I'm feeling nothing. It won't come back. I was taken far beneath the middle. Oh, if she would not press too far down, he would have still fight for it and feel something. But she humiliated him so many times and so much that he's just like, I'm not gonna try anymore. Like, because I'm not gonna try because I feel nothing. Amazing. Yeah, I'm totally not identifying with that lady, by the way. Like, I could identify the idea of, look, can you please change for me, but in a cute way. But this is abuse, straight out.
I have one more thought about the middle, which relates to the line of "I know what's left is right." So that verse is talking about the path and where do you go. And basically, so I know what's left is right. Maybe there's confusion, or maybe it's where to go, but it's like the only place in the song where there's left and right, and then middle appears at the end. And I'm thinking that they have this relation. Maybe it's about agency, because when you're no longer in the middle, you're taken so far beneath the middle. Now you're in a pit. There's no more left or right. There's no more choices to be made. You don't feel anything, and you have no agency. Turning left or right doesn't mean anything anymore because you're not in the middle. Maybe the middle is like the present moment.
That's like poetry is a snapshot of reality. Every song is a snapshot of a situation, which not only the visual imagery or characters, but also shows the emotional state, even stage of the life. It's like the whole life story is told within that one song, and there is like not maybe the life story, but the whole relationship is here with the emotional state and conclusions. Amazing. Like, people should value songs way more.
I actually had a thought. It's kind of like Lectio Divina in a way. I watched yesterday your first line by line with Manuel about.
That was a heavy song for me.
And I'm thinking it's kind of the other side of this song. So you have on one hand this if you love me, I don't want to know, and this kind of very self-centered, manipulative approach to the relationship and how hurt he is that she left him.
He didn't even recognize her in that song. He was like
exactly.
whole inside his head.
Exactly.
Like
it's very, very self-centered.
Yeah.
But there's something that is still like relatable in a way in that. And I think you were saying in that podcast stuff like, if I were in that situation, especially since it's Corey Taylor, I would take it as a challenge. I can help you, I can save you, and this is the hidden wires, right? You want to help him, you see something in him, but you feel like actually I'm being played like a marionette.
Well, it happened to me actually. Like that, the reason why I say that, because I used to like fall for those type of guys a lot. They were like all the victim drama. Oh, angels there to keep control. And I'm like, what? I'm trying to help you. Like, what? And then I'm like, I'm good. I know I'm good. Like, let me just show you how good I am. And then he was like manipulating me all through and through.
Yeah, and I think that's where, when you look at the other side of that same relationship, you see this, I couldn't hide my face to claim my innocence when you were telling me, that I'm an angel seeking control. Maybe I am an angel seeking control. And I'm doing all this wrong and you're such a poor soul. And that's why I think, when I look at this song, what I love about it in contrast with Snuff, that it's not this kind of how could you leave me when you promised to stay together forever? It's like all the blame is on you. This song is much more about kind of how did I let this happen to me within this relationship? I should have seen it coming. I should have done something different.
There is a reason why by the end of the song I was completely identifying with the guy. I actually like, oh yeah, that like, because I've been kind of on his place more than on her place. That idea that you suppress the other person. Real love is when after we spend a lot of time with somebody, we recognize the real person. Not like it's nice to be in the infatuation state, super cool, like I love to be in that state, but actual real love and long-term relationship is when you know the other person so well and you both still want to spend a lot of time together somehow. Yeah, it's But like I also know this state where the other person is coming back into your life and you feel nothing anymore. Like they hurt you so much, they pushed your boundaries so much, then you're like, no, you've pushed me too far beyond like normal. Because the middle for me is like at least normal behavior. Like, do not treat me like a queen, but treat me as a human being, please.
Yeah.
And when you actually did that, there is no coming back. Like I would like to be in a rosy stuff, but at least, yeah, not even that is an option. I get it. Yeah, I'm completely on his side here. Corey Taylor, yeah, that's the type of guy that young women trained to appreciate a good human being. They come with this nurturing innocence. It's like somebody asked me, why do good women fall for bad guys? Because good woman, like she's she's taking care, she wants to support, she like, and then she finds somebody wounded. Like women, it's true story. If a man has a huge scar on his face, he's more attractive to a woman. True. Like Tyrion Lannister, Kylo Ren, the moment they got the scar, I was like, you seem so vulnerable. you seem like you have been in some battles. Let me take care. Let me show you what's good. It's like Manuel called it hidden narcissism. It's like, why? And he said, like, because you want to prove to yourself that you're so good and beautiful by taking care of the other person. Like you find somebody super wounded and then you take care of it because you're a narcissist. I was like, what? No. Shut up, Manuel. And and like we disagree on those things. Like I do believe it's just female nature to be nurturing, and and this idea when somebody like Corey comes, like that wounded child, let's say, because like he does act like very childish. That's not manly. That's what he does. I don't want to change. It's like he's a teenager that never grew up. Shut out, Corey Taylor. Pain and suffering. You are guilty of not curing me. Yeah.
I think, I mean, basically, I think that it's a part of misreading the situation. I think that's at least what the guys around looking at this woman falling for that really childish guy who's acting all fragile and he's actually incompetent and so full of himself. You're looking, well, again, I wouldn't call it hidden narcissism, but I think it's definitely a misinterpretation of maybe also a kind of pride, vanity in a way. Like
Maybe.
you can fix this broken guy. No, you can't. You can't fix anyone. A person has to actually want to change, to do something.
I mean, also that idea. And the thing is, like, Corey is very emotional in there, so he's like, I will not care. I didn't made it very clear. And I was like, it activates nurturing in me when I hear a man like that. Go away. Like that's what I see. I actually see that. I don't know if it's even vanity. I actually literally want to go and give him a hug when I see that.
But isn't that a bit kind of like misdirecting your motherly instinct, right?
Yes, it
That's
is.
good for a 4-year-old child,
You see a
not so
brat and
much
you
for an
want to like
adult
nurture
man.
it instead of, yeah. Oh, yeah, but like that's why a lot of really good women fall for bad guys at the beginning. It never lasts long. It never lasts a lifetime. Like sooner or later, women grow up and they're like, oh no. Yeah. That's why usually grown-up women value good guys. Yeah.
I think also, right, guys, like the guys who are, let's say, the more good guys at high school are usually immature in many other ways that women also find unattractive for all the right ways also. I think everyone grows up, and at some point, more mature people manage to find each other and have better relationships.
Yeah. Like I literally remember liking a guy, but I was really young, who was so bad. And like we were hanging out in a restaurant, and he told me to steal a painting from a wall, and I was like, no. And he's like, I want that painting right now. And it's like I still liked him. Just like the audacity to request this of a woman to steal a painting from a wall. And now that as I'm a grown up thinking back on that situation, he always was a bratty spoiled child, and it kind of for some reason I resonated with my nurturing instinct that I wanted to take care of him immediately. Yeah, I grew out of it. Yeah.
Sounds to me like he was a sociopath more than anything else. He was like, what kind of things can I make you do by manipulating?
Yes. Yeah.
Not a good person to be with.
Yeah, but he was like that's the thing when you are young and you see that, you kind of focus on the visual as well a lot, and I was like, but at least he's cute and interesting. He's cute and interesting. So you lie to yourself, like me. I was lying to myself back then. Like right now, God no. But back then, unfortunately.
Yeah. A lot of stories like that for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting that you drew a parallel with Snuff by Corey Taylor. Kind of remember all the first line by lines. I remember them all. There is also a nice song called "Because of You," like one in the middle, analyzed, which I was surprised. Like there are very female songs, like, but in here it's not exactly male or female perspective. Actually, it's more human perspective. Like this song could have written both ways. It could have been a guy or a woman, as we see on this example of Corey. And like on Snuff, it's like it's not a gender specific song as far as I'm concerned. Like I could identify with desire to change someone in order to fit my beautiful story, but I always at some point stop myself and realize that it's unfair. Like I do know that process where your mind goes to, you owe me to be like in the first 3 months. But I do not like the abuse because I had been on the other side of it. And I know how shitty it is actually.
I think it's really talks to something that happens a lot when very highly empathetic people are in relationships with people that are not so empathetic, and then you have I don't even attribute evil, let's say, to the person in this case who is applying the abuse, because right, they see a button and they can push that button and they push it, right? They say like, I want the person to do this now, and I can push that button, so I'm going to push that. And I think if you're not able to kind of say, whoa, this is not okay, don't push those buttons,
Yeah.
then like you're kind of participating in your abuse, because you know that, you feel that pull.
It starts with a smile, you're playful. You think it's all a game, but then in reality it becomes so real that there is no coming back anymore.
Yeah, that's really powerful. I didn't ever think of that. But starting with a smile, how that smile is actually sinister. Right? The abuse actually started as playfulness, but there's nothing playful about it at this point.
Well, all of those last lines are the important lines. You know, like in psychoanalysis, there is a practice called self-psychoanalysis. So you sit down, you write 100 questions, and you number the question. Question one, this. Question two, this. You put those, and then look at the questions from 91 till 100. Those 10 last questions will be the actually deep-rooted questions on the inside. And you run out the questions, and by the question 20, you have no questions to ask to yourself. So you force yourself, and the last 10 will be the real thing, and you will be surprised. Oh, that's what actually bothered me psychologically. Like, you don't know those. And in here, the way I see it, it started with a smile. I should have seen it coming. Like, those two lines combined made a lot of sense. He already knows it, how it's going, because probably happened to him already. Like, he already did lose a relationship like that.
Yeah, one more thing that it brought up to me now, that once you get to should have seen it coming, then you can reread the first verses, the two verses in the song, as actually these are just rationalizations. You're playing some game bullshitting yourself, but actually you should have seen it coming. Like, this is there. You're making all of these conversations, but actually, you know, the thing that you should have been paying attention to was there, and those kind of thoughts around it are just a game because you didn't want to look at it. You didn't want to really look at it. And I think also it resonates with this you need, at the end of the first chorus, because again, it's this kind of bullshit. No, I won't break things now. I won't bring up this topic because you need me. And it also kind of brings up this, like you said, this nurturing instincts. Like, I want to be needed. So this aside, I'm so important to you. Like, what would you do without me? And this is the narcissism part of it, right?
Oh, yeah, that.
I will be that.
Why this idea of being needed, which is absolutely natural, being called a narcissism? I kind of against it.
No, let me clarify. Let me clarify. I don't think that being needed as a narcissist is not necessarily narcissistic. I think it's absolutely natural in life, and we all. I think that's why you should have, like, a job or career or something where people that maybe are not just your family actually need you, and they'd feel if, like, something happened to you and you weren't there. You want to be needed. But I'm saying in this context, there's this element where your view of yourself as I'm someone who's needed is kind of this ego stroking part, right? That it's not about actually contributing, because you're not helping.
Yeah.
That's the main part. Like, if this was a real point where you're helping the situation and it is getting better, then it's great. But if you're telling yourself, I'm needed, so I have to keep doing this, and I will bear that cross.
It's like those little strings inside.
Yeah.
Being needed is a manipulative thing. There is a thin line between those, on one thing, can you manipulate somebody by telling what you need from them?
For sure.
All the time, yeah.
I think like that's a part of the manipulation, like that at least I saw in my own eyes, when in a relationship, like, the person I tell you, but I need you. but I need you, this like what we said,
Yeah.
like I can't imagine life without you. Like, well, maybe you're gonna have to start imagining that, right? But
Such a good story. Start imagining, not needing.
yeah, because I think like when someone is doing that to you, like when you're falling for the manipulative part of neediness, what's responding to that is your narcissism.
Oh, especially when you're not actually needing it, but you're saying it in order to manipulate, to appeal to the person's desire to be needed.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, relationships so confusing. Like even after all of this, like there was in yesterday, I analyzed a song. It comes before this line by line. Um, a song King. It's like a song about divine feminine, so beautiful. And she said, "Glass half empty, glass half full." But you have to know the thing that matters, that you will not be thirsty. Judging it is naming it does not get the actual experience or truth. So I was like thinking that idea, like um, let's say glass half empty is the actual need, and the narcissistic desire to be needed. Glass half full, the honest. But the truth is actually elsewhere, not in the naming it, but in the actual experience of drinking that glass somehow. So that one is whatever is real is the truth. When you said the moment, the now is what's important, not all that evaluation thing or needs, let's say, needs you to be like in the first 3 months, let's say. Yeah, excellent. Shleef, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was really eye-opening to go through this. I really enjoyed it.
I honestly think that analyzing actual song lyrics gives us window into human soul, into actual relationships. It's so educational. It's extremely important, and I'm happy to be sponsored by Free Time. And everybody, you all get the same amount of time every day. It's up to you how you use it. Make more of free time to do beautiful things. Shleef, thank you for having free time. People, I will provide the link to Shleef's band. Please subscribe, and as
Yeah.
musicians, accept that ability to produce art and play and everything. Some recognition is also really nice. Yeah, it's like it's enough people don't get money for it, but also no recognition. That would be
Yeah.
I remember like I worked on a song for ages and then it got like 200 views and like, what? I worked on it for months. Yeah.
I
Okay,
know
sorry.
that feeling.
I mean, there are a lot of musicians in Line by Line, like a lot, and all of them are awesome and deserve recognition, as far as I'm concerned. Like, that's the side thing that I do. I promote people. I just like if you go like we talk about music and stuff. And for the next Line by Line, you can actually bring your song or your friend's song. You know, like we can. I ask musicians like bring your own work. We talk about your work. We expose it.
So yeah, definitely. I don't think I'll bring my own work because that feels a bit weird to talk about now, but I can bring
I
one
have
of the.
analyzed two of my works, so
Okay. Well, I'll consider it. Definitely, I can bring the one of the lyrics that my guitarist wrote, and one that's actually out. That would be great.